Hello everyone, this is Will, your resident idiot at what was that called again? A little technical note before we get started with this episode. This was the first time we have ever had a guest on, and boy was it a learning curve. Our guest was fantastic, as you will hear. However, the audio is not quite what we would like it to be, so we do apologize for the slightly lower quality at some points of the show. We did our best to clean it up. But the guest was awesome. Jason was fantastic. If you don't know who this is, I hope this episode enlightens you to Jason Impey and all he does. So again, we do realize that this audio isn't quite as good as we would like it to be, but we think it's still a pretty good episode, so enjoy.
You are officially 0%.
Oh my gosh!
KRZLE.
Yeah. Charles.
Yeah. Reynolds pulls out a banana and
Yes,
starts
that's where I was
doing it.
going.
Butterfly kisses.
Oh my god. Hey, fuck these drums.
The synopsis just isn't good. Oh my god. Okay. And on that note...
Welcome, everybody, to a brand new special episode of What Was That Called Again? My name is Thomas.
I'm Will.
And this is a movie game show where I have selected 3 movies, and I'm going to read their IMDb plot descriptions to Will. And then he's going to try to guess which plot description goes with which title. However, he is not alone in this endeavor this week, as we are joined by our first ever special guest. We have filmmaker Jason Impey with us today. Hello, Jason.
Hi, how are you? Good to be here.
Thanks for coming on.
It's excellent to have you. Yes, thank you so much for doing this with us. This is going to be so fun.
I don't even care if no one knows who this is. You should, but I don't care if you do. For Thomas and I, this is like a pretty honored moment. Oddly enough, I don't want to sound like I'm blowing smoke or anything, but we really have been looking forward to even just like saying hello, we like your stuff, shaking your hand and leaving. But the fact that we actually got you on the show, this is pretty awesome. So thank you for being here and doing this.
Thanks for asking.
Yeah, absolutely. We've been watching his, especially his short films on his YouTube channel for the last 5+ years, probably.
I know
if
for
anybody,
me, it was probably at least that long, right? Because it was before COVID, I think, or right around COVID.
Yep.
And I found, I was on, I do believe, Amazon Prime, just looking, I think around this time of year, looking for horror shorts, just whatever comes up, I was going to watch. And that was where I just stumbled upon Lust, actually.
Oh, yeah.
You're right. And I watched
16
it. 16
millimeter.
Out of all of the other films that I went through, I don't remember any of them, but I remember Lust. And I think I almost immediately sent it to Thomas and was like, you got to see this. And then we, for the however many years now, have gone down this rabbit hole of Jason Impey filmography. And dude, your IMDb credits are massive. So we haven't even scratched the surface yet.
Yeah.
I've done a variety of stuff, quite a mix of things over the years.
I think you're nearing like 700 IMDb credited titles now, or something like that.
Yeah, like an Jess Franco.
Yeah.
Yeah, this guy never stops working. Following his Instagram page.
Yeah.
He even currently has, I believe, multiple projects that are in festivals right now. You are welcome to plug those if you would like.
Oh no, cheers. Yeah, I am. In fact, this week, 2 features of mine come out on Blu-ray in the States. Actually, they can be imported, but they're on Amazon at the moment. Terrorized and Tortured 4, and they both have just dropped on Blu-ray, so which is pretty pleased about, because it took a while to get them there, but yeah, they're finally out.
Oh yeah.
Well, and that's the cool thing too, is that listen, it's one thing to be a filmmaker, that's hard enough. It's another thing to be an independent filmmaker. It's another thing to have as many successfully completed projects as you have, but then you top it off with also making physical releases of some of your projects. So you're not just like, putting these on YouTube. And again, that's a hard thing on its own, but you're actually making physical copies of your stuff, which is just amazing.
Yeah, no, cheers. No, yeah. YouTube's very restrictive on the content.
Yes, they are.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
yes.
Versions for that.
So you're saying that your films are maybe not always family friendly?
Nice films, but yeah.
Yeah.
Done a few controversial ones as well.
Right,
Yes,
right.
absolutely. Yeah. Anybody out there, if you have not seen any of Jason's films, just go, even scroll his YouTube channel. You can find his, you can just search Jason Impey on YouTube, and it's easy to find him and his work. Do check that out. Go down the rabbit holes Will and I have gone down.
It's fun.
Let's go ahead and dive into a quick drink check.
Okay.
And this week, Jason, as our honored guest, why don't you start us off?
What are you drinking over there, Jason?
Yeah, I'm on the Coca-Cola, the full fat red one. I'm known for that. Everyone knows I love that drink.
It's a classic right there.
Classic
yeah, Will,
Coke.
what do you got going on?
I have, you know what, I'm going tame because last night Thomas and I recorded an episode, which is actually going to come out after this one. And then we stayed up even later than that. It was a work night for me, so I'm going with just water today, boys, because
Yeah, going
I
hard.
need to rehydrate.
Yeah, and it's also like not even noon here.
Nope, it's still early morning for me.
A little early if you're going to start spiking that stuff up.
And I have to drive later, so yeah, I just sort of go water, play it nice, so you know.
Yeah. I'm also
What about you?
I'm just going on a morning coffee here.
Okay.
So this is how I like to do. Actually, on my days off, on the weekends, I often will drink almost only coffee. I can't
Really?
get enough. I love coffee so much. Yeah.
All day.
I'm very basic in that way, I think, like a basic white guy. Like just...
You're suburban dad, isn't it?
Yeah.
I've just come back from a day's filming because it's like 5 o'clock where I am, so I've actually been out all day, morning and afternoon shooting.
Right.
So.
Yeah.
This recording is really unique because not only are we having a guest, but our guest is on a completely different time zone and a completely different country, completely different spectrum of as far as the filmmaker echelon goes. So this I usually only have to battle Thomas's knowledge, but now I'm going to have to battle both of your knowledge. So this will be fun.
Yeah, this will be very interesting indeed. Gentlemen, if we are all set, I do have 3 movies ready to go here this week.
Okay.
So the challenge for me on this one, so normally my challenge is I just have to think of movies that Will hasn't seen, which
Not a challenge.
There's a plethora. All right. I can pick, classics. Maybe he's seen them, maybe he hasn't seen them.
Yeah.
But even if he has seen them, Will has an issue with remembering details about
Thank
things.
you for calling it an issue. Yes, I am shit when it comes to film titles, music titles, band names. For some reason, my head cannot log those. I can remember visuals really well, but absolutely not titles. So I possibly could have seen some of these films and still not remember what they were called.
That's true. Yes. So whenever on a normal week, it's really easy for me to just pick out almost whatever I want, and I'll just pick 3 things that these could kind of go together, and I could see how he could get confused on these. But the issue this week is that we have a guest who watches a lot of movies, knows his stuff. I've seen videos of him in what seems to be his home with just walls of Blu-rays and such behind him. And I'm so jealous of his setup because I have a closet full of movies, and we don't have, where I live right now, we don't have any space to put any shelves up or anything like that. So my movies are like unorganized, random stacks. I hate it.
I have 2 piles on the floor. That's all I've got. So.
That I gave him. So my challenge this week was to find 3 movies that Jason will not have seen and hopefully will not have heard of. And so I dug deep, and I got 3 that I'm hoping fit the bill.
This is entertaining for me just to see if you even nailed this as far as that goes.
I've been so nervous, but here we go. So
I suppose, Jason, if on the likely chance, maybe, possibly, you have heard of these films or seen these films and you do recognize them right away, at least for my sake in the game, don't just blurt them out right away. Let me struggle a little bit, okay? Okay. But we are going to compete against each other. So you're trying to beat me. I'm going to try to beat your score. I know it's not going to happen. Here we go.
So I give you the synopsis first for all 3 of them, and then I'll give you the titles after we go through all 3 of the plot descriptions. So our first film this week, we're going to be going in chronological order of release, and our first one comes from the year 1980.
Okay. Pretty broad year as far as film goes. That's
yes. As written on IMDb, the plot description reads as follows. A rickshaw driver's wife and his rich client are secret lovers, and they decide to get rid of him without being implicated. So they hire a powerful sorcerer to kill him, but the sorcerer's colleague intervenes to protect him.
Oh my god. Okay, I definitely don't recognize this at all. Jason, do you recognize this at all?
Possibly. I think I might know this one.
Okay.
I will say really quick. Yeah. Not to say anything further about anything else or whatnot, but this one, in looking up info about these three movies, I kind of came to the realization that if Jason were to have heard of or seen any of these three, this one would be the one, I would guess.
Okay.
But I would still be a little surprised.
Okay, so let me hear the synopsis just at least for myself one more time.
Yeah, it's very weird and
most
clunky.
Of these always are. Yeah.
So again, as written on IMDb, this synopsis reads: a rickshaw driver's wife and his rich client are secret lovers, and they decide to get rid of him without being implicated. So they hire a powerful sorcerer to kill him, but the sorcerer's colleague intervenes to protect him.
I love how this movie seemingly goes from like, okay, it's a your typical, there's a love situation that needs to be resolved because the partnership can't be without someone else being eliminated. We've heard that before. And then you throw in this curveball of, and there's a wizard, and the wizard's hired to do the dirty work.
And then the wizard's colleague wants to stop that from happening.
Right, yeah. There's the added layer of not only is there a wizard, but for some reason the colleague of the wizard has morals and decides that you shouldn't end this relationship. So rickshaw driver and his rich client fall in love, and they decide to get rid of her husband.
Yeah, the rickshaw driver's wife and his rich client are secret lovers. Yeah.
All three of them. I missed that part. It's a love triangle?
I think it's just his wife and his rich client.
Oh, so they're
secret lovers.
They're trying to get rid of the rickshaw driver.
I assume by context clues that that's the case. However, as written on IMDb, it's not clear because it just goes into, and
which
they decide to get rid of him but they don't say, it doesn't specify who him is.
It's implied maybe that it is the rickshaw driver. I assumed it was the rich client's. Okay, so the rickshaw driver's wife. So it's potentially a male rich client.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and they work together to try to get rid of potentially the rickshaw driver. They hire a wizard to do this, and the wizard's colleague fights against it or pushes against it. Okay, vaguely what is there? Okay, wow, that's interesting. I've never in 1980. Okay,
yeah,
Jason's maybe heard this, and I'm just like, what the fuck is this? All right,
I could maybe give a clue. It's a world cinema film, right? It's a world cinema title. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, damn. He's already sniffing
he's
it
already
out.
on the case.
Sometimes the American and the UK and the Asian they change the title as well. But I'm confident. I think I know which film you've got.
Yes, and there are also distribution labels that the UK has that America does not. And
right.
Not to say any more about that for now.
Yeah. So
what helped me get.
I know. I see. Whenever I saw what I'm going to convey in a little while, I will say that that's what made me think Jason might know this one because of this. Yeah, we'll see. On to the next film.
I'm ready.
From the year 1983, and the synopsis for this one reads as follows. A woman becomes possessed and dies after a monster is released from an antique vase she had purchased. 12 years later, the monster is reawakened. First, he possesses the family's dog before moving on to the woman's nephew.
Okay. Does this one ring a bell? Yeah. I don't know this one clearly at all.
Yeah.
It doesn't even sound familiar.
Film.
Yeah?
It does, yeah.
You said 83, right?
83, yep.
So let me try to recap this one again, just from memory. I might have to have you say it again, but I'll try. Yeah. I think there was... a woman who had a vase, and something came out of the vase and killed her.
Yeah. A
And
woman
then-
becomes possessed and dies
Possessed.
after a monster is released from an antique
Okay.
vase she had purchased.
And then you said 3 years later or 10 years later?
12.
12 years later, neither. 12 years later, this monster comes back. So this monster was banished or dealt with in some way.
It's reawakened.
It's reawakened, and then it possesses her dog first, and then the nephew.
Yep.
Okay, all right. Did I miss anything?
No.
1983. That's-
Bad genie.
yeah, it does. Yeah, exactly. I don't know. Because my only reference to some of these really bad, obscure films is Mystery Science
Well,
Theater.
hey, wait a minute. You're presuming that it's really bad.
I am presuming. I'm sorry. It
This
could be a classic.
Could be like an Academy Award nominee. You don't know.
Hey, it hasn't surprised me before, but I'm maybe wrongfully assuming that this is not of extremely high caliber, which is fine. But usually, my only exposure to those types of films in that era is Mystery Science Theater, and that doesn't even sound like a Mystery Science Theater film. So I don't even know. I have no idea.
Yeah,
Vase monster, dog possessed nephew. Okay,
You got the title. There you go. I don't
Vase
need to give you the
monster.
title.
Oh, it's the Vase Monster series.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah. All right,
Yep.
third one. I'm ready for the third one, I think.
Okay. Our third and final film comes from the year 1989. And your synopsis for this one, as written, reads as follows. 2 salesmen once worked in the countryside and I'm sorry, let me start again. 2 salesmen once worked in the countryside and came across a female ghost and a sissy ghost, and their driver was killed by the ghosts. They were so scared that they had to find a new job. That's what it says.
They had to find a new job. Not they came to religion, or not they they decided to change their, no, we just need to find a new job.
That's as written on IMDb for this movie. That's what it says.
Does this one ring any bells, Jason?
Is it another World Cinema title?
It could be.
Oh, damn it.
I think there might be a theme with the area of the world these films are coming from.
Okay,
There
that's
could
usually
be.
the case. All right, say this one, at least for me, one more time, because
Yeah.
you really lost me on whenever we threw in the descriptor of one of the ghosts as a sissy ghost. Man, I was not expecting that. Okay, so please, at least for my benefit, say this one more time for me. 89.
With pleasure.
I remember
Yep,
that one.
with pleasure. 2 salesmen once
yeah.
worked in the countryside and came across a female ghost and a sissy ghost, and their driver was killed by the ghosts. They were so scared that they had to find a new job.
I love that part specifically. I love that they're salesmen in the countryside, and their driver was the one that was a victim.
Mhm.
And they were so frightened by this that they just had to. They could no longer sell any kind of merchandise or peddle any wares, nothing like that.
Well, I gotta get a new job. Our driver just got killed by the sissy ghost.
yeah. And that's the other question: is it says the ghost killed the driver, but I wonder which one of the two was really, the most active participant in that.
You think the female ghost made the sissy ghost kill the driver?
I don't know. I don't even know. Or maybe, I don't know where to go on that one. Okay.
Yeah.
Clearly none of these sound anywhere remotely familiar to me at all. Jason obviously knows possibly the distribution company for some of them. So, again, for my benefit, I'm going to try to recap all three before we get the titles, okay?
Sure. Good luck.
So,
yep.
The first one was 1980.
Correct.
And what was the inciting action for this one? What was the first?
Rickshaw driver's wife.
Yes, okay, you're right. So this is the rickshaw driver and the rickshaw driver's wife who is in love with the wealthy client. They plot to presumably kill the rickshaw driver, and by doing so they hire a wizard, and the wizard's colleague is against that. Did I miss anything?
No, that's correct. I will say that specifically the word used in the description is sorcerer.
So
wizard.
My deepest apologies.
Yes.
that is something different. You're right. Yeah. Okay,
Yep.
sorcerer, not wizard.
Yes.
The second film was 83.
Jason probably has this sitting on his shelf.
Yeah, I
Blu-ray.
Yeah, if you just move your head, I can see the title behind you, maybe. So the second film was 83, and this was the one of the woman who has a vase which releases a monster that possesses and kills her.
Yep.
And then 12 years later, the monster comes back, possesses her dog, and then her nephew.
Correct.
That is absurd. But I'm in. Okay, and then the last film was 89.
Yep.
And this is the two country salesmen who come across a female ghost and a sissy ghost. The ghost then kill the salesman driver, and the salesmen decide that this is so terrifying that they must change careers.
Correct.
Okay. All right. So I think I'm ready for titles. I don't know if Jason's ready for titles. He still thinks like, he needs to, decide on which studio this was shot in and which soundstage this was, Are we both ready for titles, I guess?
I can. Do you want me to say the first one?
No. So Thomas is going to read the titles to us one by one. I usually react in some way to these titles because they usually always make me think multiple things. And then he won't ask us for our final answer until all three titles are revealed. So he'll go through one by one. We'll discuss the titles. I'll try to see where I think they fit. You will then laugh at me for being wrong. And then after all three are given to us, then we will submit our answers. Okay. So hold your winning streak for now.
I was gonna say, Will's editing this episode. Whenever you edit this, let's get a rewind back to Jason saying, "Do you want me to tell you what the first title is?"
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. I knew going into this that I am the fool of this show. That's what my job is. So I'm just I'm glad we're doing this, guys. So first title, right. Please.
Yep. The first title I'm going to give you to play with is going to be Ghost Busting.
Ghost Busting. Okay.
Jason nods in agreement.
He's like, yes, I know exactly which one that is. Okay, so for me, not knowing any of these films, Ghost Busting, there's one film that specifically has two ghosts in it, and they are frightening, and they kill someone. And then there's another film that has a monster from a vase, or a pot of some kind. Yeah. So I don't believe this is the rickshaw. I mean, even though there is a sorcerer, so I could be way wrong on that. And we've had this before where Jason even kind of mentioned it, where I am used to foreign films kind of being retitled for American audiences. And I know that there is sometimes like a weird either translation or even just bad marketing.
You're assuming tactics. It's a foreign film.
I am assuming that. So yeah.
Hey,
Thanks for the
America's
hint.
Part of the world. It could be a domestic film. You don't know for sure, Will.
Technically, from Jason's point of view, right, an American film could be a foreign film.
Yeah, true.
Okay, so I am aware of that, but this is Ghost Busting, correct?
Correct.
I mean, are they trying to play off of Ghostbusters as far as marketing goes?
It's a possibility, probably.
Okay.
This is the 80s.
Or did Ghostbusters steal this title?
Even
depending
more
on
consideration.
Depending on when it came out. I mean, just based off of that relation, I'm going to just, again, softly place this with the 89 film. But I don't know for sure yet. I'm going to hear the other two first.
Which one of these three films do you think would be most likely to have Bill Murray?
Oh, man. I could see... That's what I was going to say. It's like, I could see him being the sissy ghost. I mean, I could see him maybe being the rickshaw driver or the sorcerer. I could also maybe see Bill Murray possibly being related to the lady that has the vase. I don't know if he's the monster. I don't think he's he could be the nephew, I guess, older nephew. If she's like a rich old woman or something like that. But yeah, I was already leaning sissy ghost. I could definitely see that.
Well, then I want Harold Ramis to be one of the two salesmen.
Oh yeah, okay. So you're gonna go full cast. Okay, I can see that happening.
Yeah, we'll recast the 1989 film.
We should probably say that for the end. But okay, second title, please.
Yep, the second title I'm going to give you to play off of will be Devil Fetus.
Ooh. That's a badass name. Devil Fetus?
Yep.
Ooh. Okay, I mean, right away, at least I was. Do you recognize that title, Jason?
Yeah, I think I do. Yeah.
Okay, so I'll just do my bit, and then we'll let you win. But for me, right away, I was drawn to the monster in the vase story.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I don't know if it fits the rickshaw sorcerer story very well, at least just on name. Devil Fetus. I mean, it could be, again, a weird like translation-y thing or just bad marketing or something like that. These all are the 80s. The first two are more...
Big film, Devil Fetus. It sounds like one of the...
Oh, true.
Yeah. So before I've also, the early 80s, just trying to get like attention on a video rental shelf, potentially. You would just name something, ridiculous in hopes that someone, would grab it and rent it. But 89 is kind of late for that. So I feel like, again, this kind of goes to the monster in the vase, the devil fetus. So I'm going to just, again, loosely park that one there. So ghost busting, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to say that was the 89, potentially, and then devil fetus is 83 for now. Okay. Final title for me, because I clearly, I'm the only one who needs it.
Yep. Your final title today... I know I fucked this one up. Final title today is going to be Encounter of the Spooky Kind.
Oh, yeah. Look at his reaction. He's already like, yeah, I got this. Encounter of the Spooky Kind.
That's the most
Jason,
known one out of the three.
I was going to ask you, do you have this one, actually?
I'm missing it from my collection, but I do want it. So, I do like Eureka Entertainment, and I know Eureka have released this film, and I do, but I collect a lot of 88 films that also have a very range, the Asia range.
Yes.
Why, yeah, that one is out of all of them. That's the one I definitely know. And
okay, so I think I know where this one goes then. I mean, just based on if I were to play the game straight, just based on the title alone, which is Encounter of the Spooky Kind.
Yes.
I mean, it sort of also fits at least the synopsis of the 89 film, right? I mean, just like, surface level stuff here, right? There's these two ghosts and they're out in the countryside selling stuff. But clearly, based off of this episode alone, I'm going to have to go with the other two seemingly like they fit where I've already placed them, just process of elimination with the added benefit of the clues from Jason. I'm going to have to say that this is maybe the 1980 film.
It's possible. It is possible.
So I will reveal my already sort of locked in titles, and then Jason, you can then reveal what your answers are, and then we'll see which one of us is an idiot.
Jason
pointing at me.
Jason could reveal what the correct titles are for you. I think
that's probably true. My order though is again Encounters of the Creepy Kind.
Encounter of the Spooky Kind.
The Spooky Kind. Encounter of the Spooky Kind is the 1980 film where the rickshaw driver and his wife, the rich lover, trying to off the rickshaw driver. There's a sorcerer trying to that one. That's Encounters of the Spooky Kind.
Yep.
The 1983 film, I will go, which is the lady who has a vase, gets possessed, dies. 15 years later, monster comes back, possesses her dog and the nephew. I want to call that one Devil Fetus. And then that leaves the 89 film of the two salesmen in the country who come across a female ghost and a sissy ghost. The ghost then killed the driver, and the guys need to change careers. I'm going to call that one Ghost Busting. Okay, Jason, what is your correct order?
I'm going for Encounter of the Spooky Kind as 1980. That one is available around here anyway. And then Devil Fetus I have heard of, and it's quite an obscure rarity actually. But that one I'll put as the 83 one. It's like
so we're going to agree.
One here, and then the 89 as Ghost Busting.
Okay, so we're in agreement. So
all right.
So I think if Jason's right, clearly I'm right because we agree. But I don't think I win because I didn't know these movies.
Well, wait. Let me reveal.
Oh, true.
Everybody's in stitches, wondering.
Yeah, the anticipation
you got
is
0
so
out of
high.
3 correct. Yes, of course. You got all 3 of them right. Damn it.
Nice. Yeah. We defeated Thomas. That's the win.
Yes. I will remember this if there's a next time. So,
tell us about these movies.
Yes, in 1980, Encounter... So I will say that there actually was not a lot of info about any of these three films, so I do not have a lot to go off
Jason,
of here.
if you have any info, please share.
Sure, yes. Encounter of the Spooky Kind from 1980. It is available via Region B Blu-ray from Eureka. Excellent label. I think I have their Blu-ray of Kiyoshi Kurosawa's... Cure. Excellent Blu-ray. I actually chose to keep that one over getting the Criterion version because the Criterion version was a disappointment as far as the special features go, in my opinion. So that is great. So they do have this on Blu-ray. I was not able to find it anywhere else. It's not on YouTube. Sometimes these kinds of obscure foreign films will end up on YouTube in full. Yeah. Not on there. None of these three are on there. I looked. So this is from a director whose name I'm probably going to butcher, named Samo Kambo Hung. This is a Hong Kong film. Director Hung is an action director and fight choreographer, an actor, stunt coordinator. He worked in the stunt and fight choreography department on films like Ip Man, Detective D, Kung Fu Hustle, Ashes of Time, Enter the Dragon, among others. Yeah. So this guy knows a thing or two about stunts. And the only other thing that I have for you on this film, Encounter of the Spooky Kind, is that there is a real chicken killed on screen for a ritual sequence, evidently. So that's upsetting, but hey, it happens.
A sorcerer has to sorcerer, you know.
Yeah.
It'll be on the UK release because they're funny over here with the ratings sometimes.
Yes.
Even Cannibal Holocaust still has a slight issue here, so I'm curious. They find weird loopholes now around these things, but...
I was going to actually ask, are these kinds of boutique labels, are they also still beholden to that same kind of system?
They are. It's changed a lot. So I grew up, I did grow up in the 80s and 90s, and in the UK was horrendous for getting hold of films. We had a lot of fan stuff, and then they started to trickle through. I did a documentary about a distributor doing this, but we were getting very heavily cut versions, extremely cut. And just the last few years, they have been managing to get a lot more through. It isn't too bad now, but real animal killings, which affects a lot of the Italian movies, that's the stuff that gets us into hot water. Although, like Cannibal Holocaust, they've let the turtle bit stay now because of the argument that the crew ate it and it wasn't...
Oh, it's food.
Kind of got it. There's other little bits that are still, even on our 4K really cool release, it's still slightly trimmed with that. And Cannibal Ferox is also slightly trimmed, and some of the distributors here have got quite stressed out with it because people are obviously like, we're not buying that, we're importing because it's cut, and a problem.
Yeah. On the same kind of sidebar really quick, out of curiosity, is Pink Flamingos, do they cut out the chicken scene from that movie?
No, I think that is actually uncut because I've got the UK Criterion of Pink Flamingos, and it is.
Oh yeah.
But it's strange because Necromantic is also uncut and has that rabbit in it. But apparently the rabbit was stock footage and it was done for an educational video that they used. So they put a loophole around.
Definitely some weird loopholes there. Have you ever personally ran into this with your own films, as far as being forced to change things, or I mean, you're an indie producer, so I don't know if that affects you as much, but I imagine with some of your films being as boundary pushing as they are, controversial as they can be, have you ever dealt with this process?
I have had problems, actually. There was a festival in the UK many years ago that wanted to play one of my films, and apparently the local council, the council can override their rating, they didn't want it. They didn't want the film played, so it was rejected. I did actually do a film called Tortured, and it was getting an American release, and it was like a sub-label of one of the bigger ones, and they rang me up because they had a UK branch, and they did ring me up saying that the dialogue was too disgusting because they talk graphically in detail about crime, and so I had to actually trim my film and cut my film out.
Oh wow!
This was
2009
and 10. It was quite a while ago, but yeah, I got pulled up on that. I've had a few little run-ins like that.
Right. Is there a process in the UK for you as the creator to try to fight that, or try to get them to reconsider, or do you just have to like take it as they say and deal with it?
I kind of have to take it in a way because I wanted it released. The UK, if I deal with a BBFC, which I have done, some of my films have got BBFC certificates. It costs like about £1,000 to get a rating because they charge a minute. So a normal feature length film, you're looking at about £1,000, and which is even more than $1,000 really when you track this. It's quite expensive, and if they do say no, they can advise of cuts. But I have been lucky to get through. But if they say no, it's happened recently. Gestapo's Last Orgy, 88 Films was supposed to release it. It got banned a certificate, so they've had to do it through the US, which is really weird because I can, I literally can just go to Film Treasures, which is a UK shop, and they stock the American releases, so it doesn't really...
Oh, yeah.
The weirdest one is they 88 Films released Project A, the Jackie Chan old films, and it was an American release, apparently, because the UK have a different distributor, but 88 I buy from all the time, and they're in the UK. I pre-ordered it, it got dispatched from the UK and arrived to me in the UK, but it's an American disc. So it was very...
Such a weird, complex...
It's a bit redundant, really.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, with Vinegar Syndrome and anything like that, it's very easy for me just to get the American release. Just like I know there's quite a few Americans that get some of the UK releases, so it doesn't really. It's just more inconvenience of importing sometimes and getting stung with a charge, which has happened to me. I must admit.
Yeah.
Somebody's getting paid somewhere for this that shouldn't be. Yes.
Yeah, and Vinegar Syndrome's really good at releasing a lot of their stuff region free also, whereas not a lot of places are doing that. Like obviously the 4K discs are region free by default, but I've noticed that Vinegar Syndrome, a lot of their even Blu-rays seem to be region free discs, which is really cool.
I did a bit of work with Vinegar Syndrome for Spookies. I was able to get Spookies released. It was me that I managed to the rights holder and get that done. And my documentary is on that release. That was part of the deal they cut with me, and they were really good to work with.
That's awesome.
I had to go to London, which I'm not far from, have them on the phone while getting Michael Lee, who owns Spookies, they tracked down to sign the contract and get it. And then they actually own Spookies, but they sub-licensed it to 101 Films in the UK, which also took a different edit in my documentary. So I've got contributor copies from both Vinegar Syndrome and 101, actually, which is quite cool.
That's awesome, yeah.
Is this, while we're still on this sidebar really quick, which is totally fine, this is great.
Oh, yeah.
Is this documentary that you're talking about that you did, is this on either of those discs for that movie?
Yeah, it's on so there's a version on the American Spookies, and then there's a slightly longer version on the UK one, but it has got it's also got its own release on DVD in America as well as a VHS Godfather, but it's called Vitco The Untold Story on the discs Vinegar Syndrome and 101, but it also got its own release. It did quite well for me. That it was a pet project that I managed to build over time, and it actually ended up getting Spookies released, got released on that, and it became one of the best things I probably actually did on my own independent side of things.
That's awesome. That is really cool. I mean, the fact that like not only is it a highlight for you personally, but you also helped get this other thing out there.
It caused me a lot of sweat because Arrow Video wanted it as well, and they got a bit stressed about because I met with Arrow Video about doing the release of Spookies, but there was a lot of to and from because Michael was a bit mentally ill, and they weren't sure where to go. So Vinegar Syndrome swooped in, and although they worked together and used the same restoration houses, there was a bit of tension. I was caught in the middle of those two about releasing that because like Arrow wanted it, and I did say to them, well, why don't you do the UK release? Well, no, we want America or UK, or we're not having any of it. So because they've got an American branch as well now, so it caused me a stress that release, but it worked.
Caught between Arrow and Vinegar Syndrome. That's not a bad place to be, though, still.
Right, yeah.
Even considering the headaches that might be involved with that. That's fantastic. Well, congratulations. And I have found that documentary, and I am going to watch that here, possibly even today. That sounds great. Moving along, however, from the first film, our second movie from 1983, Devil Fetus. This is... all three of these are Hong Kong films, as Jason quickly figured out. This is from a director... Again, apologies in advance for my mispronunciation of everybody's names involved with these films, probably. This is from a filmmaker named Hung Chun Lao. I'm sure that's accurate. This is This movie is actually produced from a producer named Wei Lo, Weilo, who was actually the writer and director of the Bruce Lee films The Big Boss and Fists of Fury.
Okay.
And the director has not made a film since 1996. However, I could not find a birth date or a death date for him. So I don't know if he just hasn't made anything since 1996 because he passed away, which is kind of what I assume, or if he retired from filmmaking and just never made anything else, or if I don't know what the deal is. But I thought that was kind of strange. Last but not least, really fast, we're going to go into 1989's Ghost Busting from a filmmaker. I'm going to guess the pronunciation is C.U. Lau. The writer of the film is a man named Jing Wong. And there's an interesting tidbit about him. He was actually attacked outside of his offices in 1994.
By a sissy ghost?
He probably wishes.
Sorry, I didn't mean to take that serious moment.
No, you're fine. I bet he wishes it was a sissy ghost because it turns out the assailants were unidentified, but it's believed to have been retaliation for injudicious remarks ordered by the triads.
Yeah. I bet he does hope it was ghosts and not, the triads, yeah. If the triads are listening, no harm was meant by my comment there, so.
Yes, no harm at all. The only other thing that I have that's like this film adjacent is that writer of the film, Jing Wong, same guy, he was asked one time if he had an unlimited budget, what kind of a movie he would want to make. And he said he would want to make a Chinese Jurassic Park.
Okay. Yeah. That would be awesome. Yeah.
I thought so too. So that's fantastic. Hey, really quick on the topic, Jason, if you had an unlimited budget, unlimited resources, any actors you wanted, you have 34 days to shoot this thing.
Okay.
What are you wanting to make?
And
what
Chinese
is your dream?
Jurassic Park is already taken.
You can't do a Chinese Jurassic Park.
I mean, in that respect, I'd like to probably do a fantasy film. So Ridley Scott's Legend, I love that film. If I had that kind of money for that, and I love prosthetics, but if I was able to have that kind of like set built, like they did the Magical Forest and all the kind of goblins, I'd go down that fantasy. That
would be amazing to see you do. That would be awesome. Yeah.
Would you cast Tom Cruise?
Well, you never know. Actually, maybe as the
reprise some adjacent role of that. Wow, that would actually, like I said, coming from you, because of the films that Thomas and I have seen, and I don't know if Thomas has watched any ones that I haven't yet, but at least from my perspective, like you do play with themes that maybe do kind of border on the fantastical at times, or on cerebral, or kind of out there as far as they're not always grounded in 100% pure reality. So seeing you want to do something like Legend, where you just really go hard into that world of fantasy, and that would be amazing. Fantasy and horror, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, I love Bram Stoker's Dracula as well, the 90s film with Gary Oldman and that. So I love that visually, stuff like that I would love to do.
Absolutely. Well,
somebody get him a blank check then.
Yes, we're on board. Really quick, we can move along here. We're going to move on to quote time. This is where I go to the quote section on IMDb and pull a quote from one of the three films, and I'm going to read the quote in character of which will give me the direction for.
Okay, yeah, so I usually try to give Thomas some direction. I don't know the quote that he's picked, and of course Jason doesn't either. And he's going to... Is it one character in one line?
So this week, we're going to have two characters. There are 3 lines, two different characters.
So it's a back and forth. I'm going to try to just randomly pick a character from one of the 3 films, give Thomas a description to act out that character, or those characters in, now that it's 2. And that's not part of the game. That's just a fun little side bit. But anyway, once he delivers the line, then you and I, Jason, will have to figure out. You've maybe seen these films, so you remember. But I will have to figure out where this line goes to which film. Thomas, did you have anything to add there as far as?
Nope. Like I said, it is 2 different characters. One character says one line. right? Another character,
Yeah.
a second character says the second line, there is an action, and then the second character says a third line.
I apologize in advance for this, but I really desperately need to. I want you to be.
Oh God, I know
Yeah,
where you're
I know
going.
you do. I want you to be the recently deceased, and
Okay.
for both of these characters, and I want and I want you to be on. You're on the prowl. We'll say you're on the lookout for a victim because you're feeling like you're kind of defeated in life right now. You need something that gives you that fervor again. For both of you, you're both just wanting this, and so one of these characters will be a female ghost, and one of them will be a sissy ghost.
Okay, and we're on the prowl.
Yeah. You're feeling low in life, and you need something to kind of lift, air quotes, your spirits, pun intended.
Okay. All right. We're going through here. So, as written in the quote section on IMDb, our quotes are as follows: "Darling, Master Tam, he was going to rape me." I know you had an affair with him, you filthy whore.
Is that the scene?
Yeah, that's the scene.
All right. I think I know what movie this is, and I don't think I got the characters right. Jason, do you have an idea of what movie this goes to?
Well, possibly.
I think it's the Encounters of the Spooky Kind, or was that the title?
Yeah.
Okay, from 1980, right?
Yeah.
Okay, what do you think it is, Jason?
Want me to read them again in my normal voice?
Yeah,
the quotes?
maybe for clarity. Yeah, hear it one more time in a traditional voice.
Yep. So the first line is, "Darling, Master Tam, he was going to rape me." The second character says, "I know, ... I know you had an affair with him, you filthy whore."
Yeah, I think it might be Close Encounters of the Spooky Kind.
Okay. You are both correct.
Okay.
It is from Encounter of the Spooky Kind. So, as it's written, because there is parentheticals included on this that I, of course, didn't read. So, this is listed as the last lines in the movie.
Oh.
And then it says, in parenthetical, runs into Chung's arms. Chung's wife says, "Darling, Master Tam, he was going to rape me." And then Chung says, "I know," parentheses, he beats her.
Oh, jeez.
And then he says, "I know you had an affair with him, you filthy whore." And so those are the last lines of the film.
So he accepts her for all her flaws, brings her back into his life, but also teaches her a lesson as far as what she did was wrong.
Apparently so.
Wow. All right. Do we have anything else? Do we want to do any? Do we want to do?
Oh, we do have. Sorry, I almost forgot. We the rankings on these films.
Exactly.
This is where Will tries to guess the IMDb star ratings for each film. He guesses what the order is from highest to lowest of the rankings, and then guesses what the star rankings are for each film.
Right. So this is just out of these three films based off of the user rating on IMDb.
Yeah.
I'll take a shot at this, and then Jason, you can take a shot at what order you think these are in. Because I don't know these films at all, I have nothing to go off of. I'm purely going to base this just on the titles and maybe how I think they're perceived by a general audience. Mm-hmm. I could see Close Encounters of the Spooky Kind being number one out of these three.
Okay.
I mean, Devil Fetus is very controversial sounding, but it sounds like it may possibly deliver upon that controversy in a more entertaining way. So I'm going to say that it's second. Devil Fetus is second.
Okay.
And that leaves Ghostbusting as third. And I'm going to just say that because, again, this is purely off of the synopsis. It doesn't sound as entertaining as a film as the other two, potentially. And then also it being at least potentially perceived as a knockoff title of Ghostbusters only. Potentially perceived that way. I'm going to say that that's why it got a lower user rating. So that'd be the third. So it'd be in Close Encounters of the Spooky Kind, Devil Fetus, and then ghost busting is my rank. 1, 2, 3. What about you, Jason? How do you think these rated?
Encounter of the Spooky Kind to be the top because it's probably the well-known out of the three of them and has a bit of a following, especially because of the boutique label. I think ghost busting out of this is probably more prestigious, so I'd go for the middle. And Devil Fetus being the kind of trashy rare. No,
I agree with that.
It might be the low kind of like ranked one, bad taste sort of film.
Right. Okay, so we officially have a disagreement. So now there are stakes involved here. Okay, so let us know, Thomas, where the rank is.
Okay. So starting from the top, because you agree with that one being the top, Encounter of the Spooky Kind is the highest rated with a 7.0 out of 10
sense.
based on 2,893 IMDb user ratings.
Okay.
Now the middle, here's where the tie break comes through. The middle one with a 6.0 from 460 ratings is Devil Fetus.
I am victorious.
And that leaves Ghost Busting as the lowest rated with a 5.7, based only off of 50 user ratings.
Oh, that's incredible. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So maybe it's just a factor of just fewer people have seen that one. Or it could also be that maybe, like I said, I do agree with what Jason said is, Devil Fetus, it definitely sounds like a video nasties like that, but I think that actually may help it in that the people who are going to watch that and then also review it, take the time to review it, I think those are the people who already like that type of stuff anyway.
Sounds like it's more popular and more viewed.
Well, exactly. Yeah. So, wow. All right. Do we have anything else before we try to wrap this up here? Nothing else?
I don't think so, no. On to the creative segment.
We can. Jason, once again, you're more than welcome to bail out now if you have to. I know you've had a long day, but if you want to stay for the creative segment, it does get kind of loopy and crazy.
Segment.
Okay. Okay. So
fantastic.
Out of all three of these, have you seen any of these, Jason, officially, or you just know of them?
A long time ago, I saw the Encounter of a Spooky Kind. That's the one I have seen and had before.
And then, Thomas, have you seen any of these?
I have not seen any of them.
I clearly haven't either. Okay, so usually what we do is we take the line, but the line in this case, because we try to figure out where that line happens and like what is the context around that quote. But in this one, you gave us the context. It happens at the end of the film. She gets beat, but he embraces her, and that's kind of it.
Last lines of the movie. Happy ending, it sounds like, on that one.
We kind of know that. So I guess what I want to do is I want to do what we usually do, Thomas, is let's do a prediction. Okay. So we don't have to necessarily be as super creative or as wildly funny or whatever. We can be. But let's just see if we get this one right or how close or how far away we are. And since neither of us seemingly have seen Devil Fetus, I would like us to figure out how or why it is that the monster goes away for 12 years.
12 years, yeah.
Like, what is the thing that gets rid of this monster temporarily? So is it some kind of curse with a time limit? Is it just something that the monster's like reanimated or reactivated or brought back? Is the vase found again? What is the thing that causes this monster to come back to and then only go after her dog? To possess her dog.
So the immediate thought that came into my head, which I know that you said we wanted to go for like a serious
we don't have to go for serious. You can do whatever you want. I'm just saying to predict this. Yeah.
No, just the first thought that came into my head.
Sure.
Was that. So it kills the woman, right?
Yep.
Like it comes out of the vase and kills the woman who lives there. And so whenever, let's say that her sister ends up, for some reason, moving into the house where her sister was killed by a monster.
Yeah.
But the sister brings in a new vase, and just the presence of a new vase sucks the monster back into the vase.
Okay.
Like there's like a like a whirlpool kind of effect, and like the monster was like, no, it gets pulled back in.
Okay.
And and then it gets back out and it possesses the dog because her dog like bumps into the coffee table and it like knocks it over. And because the dog is the one that did it, it is able to get into the dog.
Okay, so my question is, for your idea, why is there that 12-year gap?
Because that's just how long it took for the dog to just knock the vase over.
Okay. Oh, so this is just like, okay, no, I like that. This is just really like a, oh, fuck, this happened moment. Like, it could have, at any point in time, this could have happened or not happened, and the movie could have ended right there. But we have the lower third come up 12 years later, dog rushes in chasing a squirrel or something, knocks the vase over, and then the whole thing starts again. All right, I know, I'm in.
Yeah, like, there's the alternate version where it just never breaks again, and so it's just happily ever after.
Yeah, you can choose your ending. Do you want the movie to end now, 20 minutes in, or do you want to watch the next 90? Yeah.
I don't know why she moves into the house where her sister died.
Okay.
That's very strange,
well,
but
maybe it was like deeded to her, or it was like left in the will or something like that. So there's a possibility.
Oh, yeah, sure.
But one more question for yours before Jason and I submit our examples is, okay, I buy your whole vase knocking over happenstance reason for the dog, but then why does it go from the dog to the nephew?
Yeah.
I like that you seemingly have an explanation for this. I thought about this.
Let me pull up my notes really quick. It gets into the dog, but the monster's like, man, I really need to, like, I need a human host to really go on the rampage that I want to go on. And so as the dog, it bites the nephew's arm. And it, like, through dog bite transfer, it's able to get into the boy's body.
Through the well-known horror trope of dog bite transfer.
Yep.
Okay, I mean that's because even like the kid could have upset the dog in some way, or maybe even tried to punish the dog for doing that deed, and then the monster decides to, now that the child is kind of air quotes attacking the dog, now the monster can
like the monster like takes a shit on the floor, and the kid comes in there to like abuse the dog.
From the well-known horror trope of shit to foot transfer of demonic possession.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I
got it. Remember that scene in The Exorcist?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, they cut that one out. Yeah. Okay, that's a decent concept. So you're saying
it's a decent concept. Okay.
Well, I mean, because we don't know, and it's a video nasty style film, so hell, all those ideas could very well be in there. But so just to recap real quick, you're saying that the original woman dies, the house is then taken over by the woman's sister, who moves in. The original possessed situation is resolved via a new vase coming into the house.
Yeah.
An empty vessel. The demon has to take over the empty vessel out of some ritual thing or whatever that it's told to do.
Yeah.
Then 12 years later, for unknown circumstances, the dog tips the vase over, it crashes, dog is possessed, and then via either bite or pile of shit, child gets possessed. Okay. Got it. All right.
Yep, that's the Thomas version.
Okay. Okay. Jason, would you like to make a prediction or even just a wild assumption about what you would like to see happen as far as why is this monster both gone for 12 years and then how does it come back?
I would predict that the 12-year is maybe some kind of mythology behind the curse or lore of the monster.
Okay.
That's what I would.
Okay.
With the genie, but it would be kind of interesting if it was like a funky idea that it was beaten and stored away and accidentally, unwittingly kind of unleashed. That's actually kind of probably a way I would approach it, actually. That
yeah, and us too.
yeah. Defeated, but then lo and behold, just probably because 12 years when they made it sounded cool and they just said it in present day.
Yeah.
Like many films do. This happened so and so present day.
So, so in your guess or assumption, why do you think it goes for the dog first?
I actually probably on the same thing. That was probably the first thing in its line of sight. The dog would be home on its own or walking around, and it was just a very easy, subtle attack.
Okay, and then how does it go from dog to nephew in your instance?
I reckon maybe the dog comes a bit rabid and bites the nephew because it's angry. And a bit like,
Okay, so dog bite transfer. That's the thing. All right. Okay. All right. So we have
the horror
two,
trope. The
yeah,
horror trope.
that
Dog
we're
bite
making
transfer.
right now. Dog bite transfer. I kind of want shit step on transfer to happen, but that's me. Okay. So yeah, whenever Thomas was first describing his version, I mean, he also sold me on this whole idea of, this thing maybe was defeated, and then it just seemingly through circumstance came. It wasn't meant to come back, but it kind of sort of did. I do agree that maybe the 12 years is like some kind of weird like solar cycle or lunar cycle, or probably it is probably related to something like that. But in mine, as Thomas was describing his, I immediately thought of Jumanji. So how this vase is maybe like after she dies, it goes back into the vase, right? So she's possessed.
We get a slow zoom in on the vase with boom, 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 boom.
Yeah, we're just going to copy it exactly. Yeah. Well, Jumanji was inspired by this,
Yeah.
Yeah. But I'm going to say that the original woman was possessed and then dies via the monster, right? And then it goes back into the vase because it's killed its host. It has nowhere to go. So it has to go back to the only place it can, which is the vase. And then I'm going to say that the house is foreclosed upon, sold. Something happens to the house to where the house is demolished and all of its contents are either sold off or whatever, or even just thrown away. And that maybe this vase ends up in some kind of estate auction or some kind of sale, and that the sister and the remaining family members are putting on, right? And I want to say that, like, for some reason, the sister the vase is, among other things, to be sold at this auction or sale, but for some reason, something is telling her that she can't get rid of it. So she decides to take it back into her house. And then that's where I do like the idea of the dog just knocking it over and breaking it. I really do kind of like that idea. And then I also like the idea of the dog, changing, temperament, and the child trying to correct that, and the child then gets either bitten or whatever, and that's how the transfer takes place. So I think
steps in poop.
Yeah, steps in a pile of shit, whatever, something along those lines. But I do think, at least my idea is that there's something about the vase that compels the sister or whoever, the brother maybe, whoever it is, right, to keep it. And that's why it doesn't just go to some other family or even get thrown away or get tossed or whatever. Maybe it's like a beating heartbeat of a possession that draws them in, possibly. So that's my guess.
Yeah, and I love the poster artwork of like a picture of the vase on just like a on like a little stand.
Yeah,
and it's kind of darkly lit. And coming out of the vase are like monster claws, like gripping the rim of the vase.
Yeah.
And that's what I picture for the poster.
I also see like the vase slightly tipped over and with like motion marks, and then the dog walking by, and like looking up at it. And then there's just a pile of poo on the carpet in the back corner, like, barely hidden. So it tells the whole story about what's about to happen, but it looks like, what is this? What is going on in this poster, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
At least that's my version, I guess, of the poster. All right, Jason, again, this is really a huge privilege of ours, a huge honor of ours. We have been fans of you legitimately for years now. I really hope that more people catch on to your awesomeness and keep I know this sounds cheesy and I don't like to be this way, but really you're inspirational to other filmmakers in the sense that you're just doing what the fuck you want to do and having fun doing it. And most importantly, getting it done. So with that, with your, nearing 700 titles on IMDb now that you're a part of, man, keep going, because Thomas and I get really dejected as wannabe filmmakers, and then we go and we're like, man, look, Jason's fucking out there having fun and doing awesome shit. Like, let's try to do that. So thank you for doing that. Thank you for being you, and thank you for coming on. What was that called again? Really, thank you.
No, it's been a pleasure.
Yes.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, everybody go follow Jason on Instagram at Jason666films.
Right on.
Yeah, thank you so much for joining us. It's been a real honor. We appreciate you taking the time to come out here and do this.
Cheers, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.